US allows Ukraine to use, reiterating the Russian government's position. Spokesperson Dmitry Leskov says any strikes conducted using US-made weapons on Russian soil would involve NATO directly in the conflict with Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has not confirmed receiving this permission, but said the rockets will speak for themselves. Megumi Lim reports from Kiev.
Ukraine has long been seeking permission from Washington to use the American-made ATACMS long-range missiles against Russian air bases and supply lines, which Kiev says has been responsible for the launch of devastating attacks against Ukrainian frontline positions and cities. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky included this request in his victory plan, which he first unveiled to US President Joe Biden in September. Biden has hesitated to lift this restriction for fear of the war escalating. Zelensky, in his nightly video address on Sunday, said, quote, "Today, many in the media are talking about the fact that we have received permission to take appropriate actions." He said, "But blows are not inflicted with words. Such things are not announced. The rockets will speak for themselves."
Meanwhile, world leaders are meeting at the G20 summit in Brazil over the next 2 days. Among those meetings are several first-time encounters, including UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer meeting his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the G20 summit. It's the highest-level meeting between the two countries in 6 years as the British government attempts to form a pragmatic and serious relationship with China. Stuart Smith has more from London.
The meeting between the leaders of the sixth and second largest economies in the world comes as the economic power struggle between China and the United States looks set to escalate with a Donald Trump presidency. The UK's approach to China has changed over the past decade, from attempts to create a new golden era in the 2010s to the removal of Chinese telecoms equipment in 2020 and accusations of Chinese cyber attacks earlier this year. Throughout, London's been critical of Beijing's human rights record and its threatening stance towards Taiwan, but the UK Prime Minister says China is one of the biggest trading partners of the UK and that issues like international stability and climate change require engagement. Stuart Smith, London.
Police have arrested more than 20 people in the northeast of India after demonstrators set fire to homes of lawmakers and ministers. Protesters in Manipur are demanding accountability for deadly violence in the state. From bureaus worldwide, this is FS.
From the studios of Extreme Sports in Hastings, Nebraska, we present Huddle Up, a great way to start your day with all the news, weather, and sports you need, interesting interviews, and friendly conversation from two guys that go together like Scooby and Shaggy, Mike Will and Tyson Havronic.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Huddle Up here on Extreme Sports. Welcome to a Monday, a brand new work week. It's the 18th day of November for 2024. Mike Will, Tyson Havronic, ready to start your day the right way with all the news, weather, and sports that we've got for you here today. We'll be talking some Husker football. The Huskers going on the road on Saturday and losing at USC. We'll dive into that throughout the morning. Nebraska volleyball, the basketball teams are all in action over the weekend. Closer to home, the Hastings College men's and women's basketball teams. They played Waldorf over the weekend at Lynn Farrell Arena. We'll tell you how they did. The soccer teams are heading for the NAIA National Tournament in the opening round. We'll tell you who they draw as far as their opponents are concerned. And the finals are set in the state high school football playoffs. So plenty to chat about here today as we get you up and get you going as we welcome Tyson Havronic from the Western Studios here today. Good morning.
And a good morning to you, Mike. I like how you just kind of glossed over the Sunday game at 3 o'clock, the fact that there's no more undefeated teams in the NFL after the Buffalo-KC matchup that was. And I think I found a little discovery over this weekend as I was working down at First Street yesterday and actually missed most of, had it not been for crew chief Indorf sending me some score updates, missed most of that Buffalo-KC game. Found this out. if I'm not watching, my favorite teams do well. So new strategy might be implemented this Saturday with the Huskers taking on Wisconsin. And yes, as you can hear, definitely lost a little bit of my vocal cords as I was screaming at Royola for sliding too early or putting his hand down by the center saying don't snap it. We were screaming this past Saturday. So there is a little bit of a loss on the vocal cords, but we're hoping to power through here on this morning show.
So Saturday, you spent your day screaming at your TV set.
That more, tossing things, just all outrage. All outrage. Just done.
All right, well, where do we want to get started here today? We want to talk the Huskers to get started, or do we talk about the Buffalo Bills? And you can go ahead and jab it into me. Let's start with the Buffalo game. There's no doubt that Buffalo outplayed Kansas City yesterday, but there's also a pretty good chance that this game is going to be played again. These two teams are probably on a collision course, maybe for the AFC championship game, I would think. The way they are playing. So we could probably see these two teams play again. And right now it would be in Kansas City because we still have a better record as of now. We still have a better record as of now. So if the Chiefs and Buffalo would get together again, right now the game would be played in Kansas City, and I think that would be huge.
Yeah, and you go back to the Buffalo-Kansas City game, and just watching some of the highlights when I got home from YouTube, it just looked like Josh Allen was finally done getting beat by Pat Mahomes. It looked like he was just going to take the entire team on his shoulders, which he did, and especially there in the final minutes of the game. Allen won them the football game. There's no doubt about it. If there is any other quarterback, even in the NFL, starters, non-starters, what have you, if number 17 isn't taking snaps for Buffalo, I don't think they win that football game, and I don't even think it's close. But I think Kansas City, from what I was hearing and looking at some of the chatter, said that they just did not play very well defensively, made a lot of mistakes that have been uncommon at this point in the regular season. So, but again, it all to me comes down to J.A. It all comes down to number 17 with Allen and just his takeover ability. So yeah, Buffalo picks up the win. You're not wrong. These two teams will meet in a collision course at some point in the postseason, just depending on how things get seeded. And so I would expect the rematch to be equally as good. I think watching the highlight reel, obviously they put together all the jam-packed moments, but it looked like certainly one of the more entertaining games so far here in the 2024 NFL season. A lot of eyeballs on it. Two teams that are playing top level football right now on a collision course, and I look forward to round two. Although if the strategy proves correct and the Huskers end up picking up a win on Wisconsin Day on Saturday, I might not even be putting my own eyeballs on it. The new strategy might be, hey, your favorite teams win when you don't watch them, so just go ahead and keep working, little man.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. You might as well slide into it. The Huskers again going to USC, losing by a score of 28-20. I didn't see any of the game because I had Hastings College basketball. Right. I got home just in time to watch the final play. And if that's not pass interference in the end zone, I don't know what is. And then I talked to a lot of people that watched the entire game. They said it was happening all day long. I said the last play in the end zone when Nebraska was going for potentially a tying touchdown there at the end. Yep. If that's not pass interference, what the hell is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and you're dead on. I mean, the officiating was horrible, and has been all season. And we can certainly take a look at that. And obviously that's something that they have to get a grip on is just the officiating. And it's been bad. And we can see that from our standpoint. But here's the deal. And I've said this for years, and I will continue to preach it. Like, you put the game in the referee's hands. That should have never been in the referee's hands. That should have never been down to a game-deciding call. Because that was a horrid, awful, just trash USC squad that we went up there and played. And if you're a more physical football team, if you are a team that can go out there and just execute the simplest of football tactics, you win that game by 35. We were bad. We were bad again offensively. It's head scratching. It's mind numbing. You bring in a brand new play caller, and that doesn't help. And then you got to start looking at your personnel. And I mean, and I don't even know anymore. I'm so frustrated as a Husker fan base because we're not doing the simple things. The very simplest of things, like looking at the first down sticks when you're on a scramble and making sure that if you do slide, you're not 3 yards in front of the first down sticks. It's calling a timeout when you're lined up to punt, only to come out and fake like you're going to go for it, but you're not hard counting. You put your hand behind the center and you say, don't snap it. Don't snap it. Don't snap it. That's not a hard count. That's not trying to sell anything. We're not executing the simple things, and we're not being physical. And because of that, you're playing in the Big Ten Conference where you have to be a more physical football team. And right now we're not. And I don't know if practices aren't hard enough. I don't know what's going on. But it's frustrating and it's mind-numbing, and I'm out of answers. I'm out of fire this guy. I'm out of bench his butt. You know, I do know this. When I say benching things, and I know people get all up in arms when I say bench somebody, I go by more of a Bobby Knight strategy. Bobby Knight, great, one of probably the greatest minds in basketball. And he said that the biggest motivator, and we need to get motivated. There's no doubt about it. We need to play a more motivated brand of football moving forward. Your biggest motivator is butt meets bench. Butt sends signal to brain. Brain transmits signal to body to play better, and then body sends signal to butt to get off bench and go play better. That's what benching does. I'm not saying bench for the entire game. I'm saying sit down, think about what you did. Maybe pick up an iPad instead of just going to the bench and sitting down and pouting. Maybe pick up an iPad and read a defense for once. Get on the bench. Harburg was in for one play. He got a 13-yard first down and never saw the field again. We got to figure out our personnel. We got to get more physical, and we got to play more motivated. And until we do that, we ain't going bowling.
Two games. Yep, 2 games left. Wisconsin and Iowa. Now we're down to the final 2 games. Who are we going to beat? Yeah, we've been on this roller coaster, and it's been a downhill slide in the month of November. And we're saying, all right, who we're going to beat? Well, we can beat USC. We could beat this team. We could beat this team. But now we're down to the final 2 games. Mm-hmm. You've got Wisconsin and Iowa. Wisconsin at home, Iowa on the road. Who are we going to beat to go bowling?
Yeah, Wisconsin just played a Oregon team, probably the best team in the country, real close. Iowa has looked vastly improved. I don't know, but you got to figure it out. If you're not coming in on fire for every single game, for every snap, then get your butt on the bench.
Well, this has been the story since the 2021 season. I stumbled across this morning. Since the 2021 season, Nebraska is 1-12 in November games, including 0-6 under head coach Matt Rule. The only Husker win during that time was in 2022 when we played Iowa, when interim head coach Mickey Joseph was the head coach. Yeah, we're 1-12 in November games since 2021.
Oof. I mean,
interesting stat there, isn't
it? When does the post Monday quarterback armchair quarterback show have to turn into the only word that you can describe Nebraska football as is oof? 1-12 in November games. A few comments rolling in on the comment section. We'll start first with the Husker talk since we're on the topic. Chief Endorf says they need to get Carter Nelson on the field too. Top 100 recruit with so much athletic ability. Should not be standing on the sidelines. To that I agree. Lou Dog says don't let the refs dictate the score. Also says the Chiefs' loss could be a blessing in disguise. Now they can focus on playing better football without having the perfect season talk hanging over their shoulders. And the beautiful birthday present is Chiefs and Huskers both losing. And just hope KU wins tomorrow. So there you go.
I know where that came from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you leave us a message on Facebook if you would, please, or better yet, give us a call and weigh in on anything that happened over the weekend that you want to discuss. 402-834-1330 is our telephone number, 402-834-1330. So drop us a message or give us a call, and you can get involved with Huddle Up here today. Thanks for listening to us at all the normal places online at x-streamsports.com with your smartphone, with our free mobile app, with your smart speaker, with Alexa. We're on Roku. We're on Facebook Live. We've got the cameras set up. You can watch us do our thing here this morning. But, hey, we'd like to get you involved in the program. Talking about getting our butts kicked. Yeah, talking about getting our butts kicked. Tim Stroman, who's the baseball coach at Adams Central, who we ribbed all week long. We got him in our Blazing 5 contest because he's a baseball coach, and we didn't think he knew anything about football, so we thought we'd get him in. Yeah, he went 4-1. He went
flexed.
4-1. He beat us both. I went 2-3, and you went 3-2 in the Blazing 5 picks. The turning point between you and me, you had Nebraska at 8.5, and I had Nebraska at 7.5. You win, I lose.
Early bird gets the worm, solid at 8.5, and I said that's only going to continue to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Thank God we got it at 8.5 because we needed that half point. That was the lone savior on the weekend. He's talking about Tim going 4-1. I'll be honest, I cheated a little bit, and I used some of his picks to throw my own little parlay together. The salvage on the weekend because the Blazing $5 to win 100 didn't happen, and actually was pretty confident in my picks, so I kind of doubled on it and did something I shouldn't have. So then I spent 10. We salvaged it because we got a little back. I threw 3 of his 4 winning picks into a separate parlay and actually made some dough on the weekend. So overall, it wasn't that horrible of a weekend. Big thanks to the baseball guy, Timmy Stroman, for some assistance financially this past weekend.
Yeah, he texted me yesterday. He says, "Hey, can I do it again this week?" I said,
Absolutely.
Yeah, anytime you beat us and beat us bad as you did, you're more than welcome to add a little credit to this show. So I said, yeah, you can come through with a Blazing 5 pick again this week. Anyway, the only loss that Tim had was the Northwestern Ohio State game overs at 43.5. Ohio State won the game 31-7, so 38 points. He was close there. He won the overs on Colorado, Utah. He correctly predicted James Madison to beat Old Dominion by 2.5 points. They won by 3. 35-32. Then yesterday he was 2-0 in the NFL. Minnesota winners over Tennessee by 6. They won by 10. And he had the overs on Jacksonville and Detroit at 46. Hell, Detroit scored 52 themselves.
Detroit got that on their own.
Yeah, Detroit 52-6. They won over Jacksonville, so they covered the overs by themselves. What did I have? I had a win with Northwestern and Ohio State. Northwestern was getting 28.5, and Ohio State won by 24. I also got a win with Pittsburgh yesterday, getting 3 against Baltimore. And I dropped games with Texas. They were giving 12 to Arkansas. They won by 10. I lost the Nebraska game, and I lost the Kansas City game yesterday. Let's see, your only loss. Let's see, your losses were
Oregon.
Texas, Arkansas.
Yep.
And you lost Oregon and Wisconsin.
Yep.
You won Nebraska, won Buffalo, and you won on Illinois.
So you pretty solid. Texas had a chance to make that 13. It was 12. They had the ball in the final 2 minutes. They chose to go. I mean, as you would. You choose to go and you win it. So it was like 4th and 2. They were in field goal range. That was probably the start at me screaming at my television, kick the field goal, get up 13. No, they went for it, got the first down, were able to run out the clock. Speaking of Pittsburgh, they're a scary team in the AFC. They're knocking off teams. They won a big game over Baltimore. I was very leery when you took the Steelers in that Baltimore matchup. Pittsburgh is just we have all this talk about Buffalo and Kansas City, all this talk about, the Baltimore Ravens. I think you got to stop talking about the Bengals right now, but they were up there with all their athletes that they had coming back. I don't know if Zach Taylor can withstand the rest of the season there in Cincinnati, but Pittsburgh is a team that I'm definitely keeping an eye on as a very sneaky dark horse team to knock off one of these big boys, whether that be Kansas City or Buffalo. I don't want to play them. I think they're playing hot as hell right now, and they picked up another big win. So congratulations to Crew Chief with his Pittsburgh Steelers, as he says, don't sleep on the Steelers in the AFC playoffs.
What about the NFC now? Who's going to come out of that
mess,
thing?
Isn't it?
It is. I mean, there's really not anybody that's really lighting the world up.
Well, Detroit, 52-6.
Well, Detroit.
Yep.
Yeah, but who they play yesterday?
Jacksonville.
Yep. They scored 52 points. Detroit might be, like you said, you had them a couple of weeks ago going to the Super Bowl, and I was laughing at you. I don't think I'm going to laugh at you anymore.
Yeah, they might be probably the best team in the NFC. I don't think there's. You're right. I mean, it's a mess.
Yeah,
I thought the Commanders. I thought Washington was playing really good football. They've kind of slid back the last couple weeks.
Yep.
They're reversing. They're backpedaling. They're going in the wrong direction. San Fran, They're healthy, but
they lost yesterday.
They lost yesterday.
Yeah. So so I got Detroit up there as the top pedestal. Now who's the second tier?
Philly at 8-2 with Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, Detroit and Philly, and then look at the rest of this junk. Minnesota is 8-2, but I haven't. Yeah, they picked up the win against the Titans. I'm still not impressed with them. I guess Green Bay in there with Jordan Love, and they got to get some health back on the wide receiver standpoint. Washington is in there, so a couple teams that I would pick from, but I would say that your top two teams are probably Detroit and Philadelphia in that division. But yeah, it's a jungled mess.
All right, so if you want to chime in with us again, we'd love to talk to you about NFL
sleeper team
football.
in the NFC.
Yeah, NFL football, the Huskers, or anything else on your mind today. 402-834-1330 is our telephone number, or drop us a message on Facebook. It is 7:19 as you wake up, get going this morning on this Monday as we get our first update on news today.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
$7:19 here on the West Side Studios. Time for a local news update. Before we get to that, though, a quick birthday shout-out. One of our loyal listeners, Lou Dog, celebrating his birthday today, so happy birthday to Lou. Let's get into news, where it's brought to you by Hastings Federal Credit Union. Since 1946, Hastings Federal Credit Union has been a part of the Hastings community, and it's a community that is at the heart of everything they do. As a nonprofit financial cooperative, the credit union is owned by the members who join, and joining the credit union is as simple as opening a primary savings account. You can get from point A to point B and everywhere in between with a low-rate vehicle loan. Whether you're committed to camping or love living the lake life, you can also count on the credit union to finance your next big toy. They even do personal loans for life's little curveballs. With affordable loan rates, convenient repayment options, and a friendly local service and staff who knows you by name, see for yourself what the credit union difference is all about. That's Hastings Federal Credit Union, 707 North Marion Road, or online at hastingsfcu.org. Hastings Federal Credit Union is an equal housing lender. The city of Grand Island is about to endure a major renovation, but you won't be seeing it on roads or in the form of new development. The city website will have a brand new look with new user capabilities starting today. Grand Island Mayor Roger Seal said in a press release that the new look website has been a long time coming and will provide unprecedented access to city information. The city will also be rolling out a brand new mobile app today. At last week's Hastings City Council meeting, the 1 and 6 year plan was approved for infrastructure improvements, all approved in the city budget. Continuing work at Quiet Crossings is another project included on the street improvement plan, as construction is complete at the Pine and Hastings Avenue crossings. Lincoln, Denver, and California Avenue crossings are under contract, and construction started on Lincoln Avenue. For Colorado and Elm Avenues, the crossings will be designed and bid in 2025. With construction anticipated to be completed by 2026. The Federal Railroad Administration must complete reviews of the project to initiate the Quiet Zone. The Quiet Zone project is paid for by the city half-cent sales tax. The Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office has approved the Buffalo County Sheriff's Office for a selective traffic enforcement grant. The grant allows the Sheriff's Office to utilize extra deputies for participation in the Make It Click mobilization. The extra traffic enforcement will be conducted through the Thanksgiving holiday from November 23rd through December 1st. And the Nebraska Public Power District Board of Directors has recently approved a 2% retail rate increase. Similar to other utilities across the country, NPPD continues to experience cost pressures related to inflation, supply chain constraints. The increase will be an estimated $3.25 to the average residential customer monthly bill. It is now coming up on 7:23. We'll spin things back over to the East Side Studios. Mike, a lot of sports going on. Now, what's the latest?
Oregon is still ranked number 1 in the latest AP college football poll. The Ducks are 11-0 on the season after Saturday's 16-13 win over Wisconsin. Ohio State is second, followed by Texas, Penn State, and Indiana. Rounding out the top 10 are Notre Dame, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. Nebraska now 5-5 on the season, 2-5 in the conference. After Saturday's 28-20 loss to USC, the Huskers drove to the Trojans' 14-yard line in the final seconds, but could not reach the end zone. Dylan Raiola completed 27 of 38 passes for 191 yards with a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Emmett Johnson led the NU rushing attack with 55 yards on 10 carries. Jamal Banks hauled in 5 passes for 55 yards. Nebraska will play host to Wisconsin on Saturday, kickoff at 2:30 on the Big Ten Network. The Nebraska volleyball team swept Indiana on Saturday, 25-12, 25-17, 25-19. Harper Murray, 10 kills, 8 digs, 2 blocks for the Huskers. Nebraska now 26-1. They are 16-0 in the conference. They'll play at Iowa on Wednesday. First serve will be at 6. The Nebraska men's basketball team lost to St. Mary's 77-74 yesterday up in Sioux Falls. Bryce Williams had 28 points for the Huskers. Nebraska now 2-1 in the season. They'll play at Creighton on Friday. Tip-off will be at 7. You'll be able to see it on FS1. The Nebraska women's basketball team beat South Dakota 113-70 on Saturday. Britt Prince had 23 points for the Huskers. Natalie Potts had 22. Nebraska now 4-0 on the season. They'll play host to North Alabama on Tuesday. Tip-off will be at 7. Hastings College men's basketball team, they lost to Waldorf 80-72 on Saturday. Quinn Johnson had 19 points for the Broncos. Hastings now 1-2 on the season. They will play at Briar Cliff on Saturday. Hastings College women's basketball team, they beat Waldorf 90-68. Macy Bryant had 19 points for the Broncos. Hastings is now 3-0 in the season. They'll play at Briar Cliff on Saturday. And the Hastings College soccer teams have qualified for the NAIA National Tournament opening round. The women will play Olivet Nazarene on Thursday in Williamsburg, Kentucky. The men will play Louisiana Christian on Thursday in Marshall, Missouri. And the Nebraska Kearney football team lost to Fort Hays State 27-20 on Saturday. The Lopers finished the season 5-6, 3-6 in the MIAA. The volleyball team beat Northwest Missouri in 5 games. The Lopers are now 28-1. They're 15-1 in the conference. They'll play Fort Hays State on Thursday in the first round of the conference tournament. The women's basketball team beat Metro State on Friday and lost to Adams State on Saturday. The Lopers are now 4-1 and will play at Wayne State on Wednesday. Tip-off will be at 5:30. That's an update on your sports headlines this morning on Extreme Sports at 7:26.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
Get ready for a wet, soggy, and windy day today on this Monday. Hey everybody, Tim Jones. Here's a look at your forecast. Rain spreads in the area by Monday morning and continues through Monday night. Overall, about an inch of rain. Some places will receive up to 2 inches. Also, strong winds gusting to 35 miles per hour is also possible. 47 degrees for the high today. Tuesday, plenty of sunshine, but we're still in the 40s. That continues the rest of the week, and we'll keep windy conditions as well.
Right now, as you wake up, get going, the winds out of the northeast at 5, maybe up to around 9 miles per hour. We've got cloudy skies, 43 in Hastings at Extreme Sports.
This holiday season, take control of your health and give the gift of wellness at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. From November 10th through December 31st, we're here to help you unwind, rejuvenate, and feel your best. Treat yourself or a loved one to our soothing massages, relaxing head spa scalp treatments, and luxurious Glow 2 facials. Discover the healing benefits of ozone therapy and frequency healing. Looking for an extra special gift? Our gift certificates are the perfect way to share the gift of wellness. Plus, become a member and enjoy 24-hour access to our exclusive therapeutic amenities, including the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge. Members also save 20% on all services and 10% on products from our non-toxic retail shop. Give the gift of health, peace. Enjoy this holiday season only at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center.
Extreme Sports has been bringing you the exclusive home of Hastings College Athletics, and we're just getting started. Thanks to our incredible sponsors and your support, Extreme Sports 2 has been a huge success. And now we're excited to announce the launch of Extreme Sports 3. With Extreme Sports 3, you'll get even more local sports coverage. Plus, 24/7 access to Sports by Line, where you'll hear the best in national sports talk. Whether it's Hastings College, high school action, or the latest from around the sports world, we've got it covered across all 3 streams. And don't forget, when we're not broadcasting games, join us weekday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for Huddle Up with Mike Will and Tyson Havronik. It's the perfect way to start your day with sports, news, weather, and great local interviews. So tune in, check out all 3 streams, and stay with us for even more sports coverage coming soon. Thank you to our sponsors for making it all possible, and to you, our listeners, for keeping Extreme Sports strong.
All right, good morning again. It's a Monday. You're listening to Huddle Up here on Extreme Sports. Mike Will, Tyson Havronik. We've already talked about the Chiefs and the Bills. We've talked about the Huskers and the USC. A lot going on over the weekend, kind of in the midst of finishing up the fall sports season and getting ready for the winter sports season, as we had basketball over the weekend. And I see the high school teams, they start practice for their winter sports today. So going to be busy around all the schools, not only on the high school level, but also on the college level. We got to the finals for state high school football as well. Sandy Creek, they have made it into the championship game, and they'll play Stanton. We kind of had that. We kind of had that penciled in all year long, and it's going to come to realization next Monday. Sandy Creek and Stanton for the Class D1 state championship at Memorial Stadium. That game will go at 2:45. We'll have it for you here on Extreme Sports next Monday. But again, you had the call of the game last week as Sandy Creek picked up yet another win.
Another win, and another win in convincing fashion. They did suffer their first time all season since the semifinal a year ago. They were down on the scoreboard for the first time, and that was only due to Sandy Creek not converting on a 2-point conversion. So 8-6, and then unanswered after that. Sandy Creek is as advertised. Stanton, obviously, you got to see that matchup a year ago in the semifinal matchup. You know how talented that Stanton team was. They brought nearly everybody back. And the whole season long in Class D1, it's really reminded me of like a Nebraska, Oklahoma glory years where it was number one, number two. You know, you played your game, and then everybody's eyeballs immediately went over to the scores. Okay, what's Stanton do? How much did Stanton win by? You know, these two teams were on a collision course from the very start of the. Or I guess from the time the clock hit zeros in the semifinal, and you kind of penciled it in. You said that these two teams will see each other again, and it just so happened to break that they were on opposite sides of the bracket and could work their way through. I am excited and ecstatic for Monday's championship matchup coming up in a week over at Memorial Stadium at 2:30 in the afternoon as the Mustangs and the Sandy Creek Cougars will get together. That one, gosh, I'd put it in prime time because you're not going to see 8-man football played at a better level than what you're going to see with Stanton and Sandy Creek getting together. If you're telling somebody about the joys and the thrills of the 8-man game and you want to showcase it, put it under the bright lights. But yeah, 2:30 in the afternoon, that's a can't miss matchup. It's going to be good.
I think all the finals look good to me. Central Valley will play Riverside in the first game at 10:15 next Monday. That in Class D2. Then we'll get the D1 game between Sandy Creek and Stanton at 2:45. 7:15, the Class A state championship game will be Omaha West Side and Millard South. So they'll play 3 games on Monday, then 3 games on Tuesday. 10:15 on Tuesday, the Class C2 state championship game between Norfolk Catholic and Bishop Newman, followed by the C1 tilt between Central City and Wahoo. And then the 7 o'clock game on Tuesday will be the Class B state championship between Bennington and Omaha Skutt. But what about Central City? They go on the road out to Sydney and pick up a win in the semifinals. And Central City, under our former buddy, well, he probably is still our buddy, but former Hastings College quarterback Troy Hubert is the head coach there at Central City. So he takes his team, the Bison, to the state title game on Tuesday.
Yeah, a nice local flavor there. Central City, they've been building for that. You could just tell that that's just a program that he has really turned around and can't count them out. Was excited to see them get to that stage. I know that they're very similar to Fairfield in terms of the support they get when they have a program that's playing at a high level. You know, Central City's getting people from the Grand Island area that are coming out and watching this football team and watching what Coach Schubert's doing over there. So they're getting a lot of local support, and it was good to see them make it to the state title. And like I said, I wouldn't circle against them coming up in that championship matchup. So yeah, getting them back to that state championship. We had lots of newcomers that are heading out to the capital city for the first time in school history as well. So yeah, it should be a fun weekend. Should be a fun week in Lincoln coming up next week.
Again, the championship games will be on Monday and Tuesday down at Memorial Stadium. 7:35. Again, if you'd like to chime in with us, you can. 402-834-1330 is our telephone number. 402-834-1330. Whatever's on your mind here today, give us a call, and we'd love to chat with you or drop us a message on Facebook Live. I see our champion, Tim Stroman, is finally chimed in. Nice that you could wake up. We've already talked about you, Tim. Yeah, we already talked about you at a little after 7. You need to get up a little earlier if you want to hear your name on the radio. But we already told everybody you kicked our butt. That's all right. You kicked our butt this weekend, and you're going to be our guest predictor again this week to add a little credibility to this show.
The reigning, defending, Blazing 5 champion of the world is not either me or you. It's Tim Stroman.
Well, Stroman, he said he wanted to be on until we beat him. So he might be on for a while.
He might be a permanent fixture on the show.
Anyway.
We'll have to build him a studio so he can have his Blazing 5 set up for Friday.
Yeah, he can have his own studio. Anyway, go back to the Husker game. We got some comments from Husker head coach Matt Rule after the ball game. Again, Nebraska losing to USC on a Saturday, 28-20. The coach said he's obviously disappointed with the loss.
Tough result. I thought the guys laid it on the line. Play here or play there. And even on that last drive, the ball goes through our hands. They catch it, get the first down. Just really in the first half, two big plays for them that went through our hands. Resulted in a touchdown, the play to get us down to the 6-yard line. So, I kept trying to calm the guys on defense down on the sideline, saying, hey, guys, this game's going to come down in the fourth quarter. We all know it is, and it did. So, credit to Dana, to be able to come in after a week and be put in those situations, and even at the end trying to move the ball, final plays, fourth down. What I do know is that we'll only get better and better and better. I think offensively, you're just now beginning to see the genesis of what I know will happen. I thought our special teams versus some really special returners showed up. We kicked the ball well, kicked off well. We blocked a kick today. So a lot of things that we did well. You take away maybe one play here, one play there, but that's football, and that's the new Big Ten. As I told our guys, this isn't like the old Big Ten West, 17-13. You come out to USC, they've got great players. You're gonna have to make a lot of plays, and so disappointed, but encouraged by some of the things that I saw.
And the coach said he was happy with the way the offense looked under new offensive coordinator Dana Holgorsen.
Yeah, I think what Dana's done is amazing. I mean, in such a short amount of time. And the first half, we only had 28 plays. Part of that's, when you score on defense, kind of flips those numbers. But we had a couple opportunities, to maybe make a little bit more. And we didn't do it. But just, the verbiage, the language, the timing, the ease with which guys got in and out, and guys that, haven't maybe touched the ball as much made some plays. So they're like, Janier and Bonner today, did some really good things. So at the end of the day, offensively, they played man against us, and we just we're trying to find ways to win versus man. We have to find more and more ways to win versus man. And I think that was really at halftime kind of some of the things that he was looking for.
And the coach says his team came ready to play in this one.
I thought the guys were great. I thought the guys, they worked their tails off the last 2 weeks, getting ready for this. But, they worked. I go back to my week against Indiana. I told you guys I thought we had a great week going to Indiana. The challenge was to do it on game day, right? To show up and do it on game day. There's nothing worse than hey, we practice well, but we don't win. Go do it on game day. And so, there's areas that where maybe they match up better than us in this area, right? There's areas maybe where we match up better than them, and so that's a talented football team. I know they've been struggling, but it's a talented football team, and we had to take more advantage of some of those things, the areas that we had. But I thought they practiced well. I thought they showed up. I thought they wanted to play. I thought they competed. First times in a while we came out of the half and moved the ball down and scored. Would have loved it to be a touchdown, but it was a field goal. So there's a lot to build on.
And that's Husker head coach Matt Rule following the Huskers' loss to USC on Saturday, 28-20. When I went out after I got home from the Hastings College broadcast and watched that final play, and I met some folks for dinner Saturday night. First question I asked was how'd the offense look? That was the first question because I knew the Huskers didn't win. I asked, in fact, I was out with Jimmy. I said, how'd the offense look under Dana Holgorsen? He says, not much different.
It looked the same.
Not much different.
It was the same. We saw a few different things. And he mentioned Bonner. I'll mention Emmett Johnson. I thought Emmett Johnson played his ass off. I mean, I thought he was one of the better Huskers that we saw this Saturday. But the problem still exists that we are so great at moving the football to the 15-yard line and then stalling out. We trade threes for, we trade sixes for threes so many times in the red zone. Our red zone offense has to figure out how to find ways to get into the end zone. We got to figure out how to be, as Coach Rule said, man coverage, basic man coverage with bodies and athletes all over on this football team, whether they're on the sidelines or on the field. Switch up some personnel. I've preached it now for the last 3 weeks in a row. Put Harburg anywhere on the field. I don't care if he's in at quarterback. I don't care if he's in at running back. I don't care if he's tight end and wide receiver. Just get his ass on the field. We've got to be able to get some points on the board. We've got to be able to counterpunch with these teams. But, yeah, you're right. It didn't look much different. Even going back to last week, I kind of laugh a little bit when you're talking about Holgerson, because he came in and said, well, we're just going to focus on the things we do well. And then I kind of scratched my head about it. I'm like, wait, we do things well offensively? But we moved the ball down the field. We ran the ball fairly well. We just stalled out in the red zone. So, yeah, Jimmy's right. It didn't look much different.
Our rushing attack, 10 carries, 55 yards. That was Emmett Johnson. He was the leader.
Yeah.
And that's why we're having problems in the red zone, because you know why?
We don't.
Damn ball.
We can't do it. We can't do it. We can't run the football. 55 yards, 10 carries. Jamal Banks hauled in 5 passes for 55 yards. Those were the leaders in the rushing and receiving category on this Saturday.
10 carries, 55 yards. That's not a bad clip. Give it 20 carries.
Yeah, that's
and
what
you're
I mean.
over 100 yards. Give him the ball more. You focus in on what we do well. You got 10 carries for 55 yards. Keep doing that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. 5.5 yards a carry. That's going to get you up and down the field a little bit. So we've been saying it all season long.
Run the damn ball.
And Lou Dog's right. It says one play for Harburg. One play, 13 yards.
Yeah.
Harburg had the best average. One play, first down, 13 yards. He gets out of the field. I'm just scratching my head.
Is that his only carry he had?
That was his only time he got on the field.
Really?
Once for a first down. Oof.
All right. So
More
anyway, we've got Wisconsin coming up this weekend. I did a little work on them this morning. Wisconsin has beaten us 10 times in a row.
Okay.
Iowa
is better than 4-0-1.
Iowa has won 7 out of their last 8 games against Nebraska. So those are the last 2 games we got left. Wisconsin and Iowa trying to pick up one of the two to go bowling this year. And again, the only win we've got over Iowa was in 2022, and Mickey Joseph, the interim head coach, led us to the win. Wisconsin right now is on a 3-game losing streak, but the losses were to number 4 Penn State, 28-13. They lost to Iowa, 42-10. And they lost to number 1 ranked Oregon, 16-13.
I'll say what I've said all season long about this football team. This isn't a bad football team. I was receiving some comments on my social media posts that well, this is just a bad football team, and you just gotta you gotta realize that we're not gonna win any more games, and boo hoo hoo, we're not going bowling. This is not a bad football team. There's athletes all over the field. This is a football team, Mike, that has no idea how to win in close games because we've never done it. We don't have any experience. We have nothing to draw back on. We have nothing to get positive momentum moving forward to propel us because we don't know how to win in the fourth quarter. We are so good at taking victory away from ourselves on games that we can win. And I've said it, and I will continue to say it. On paper, you look at depth chart and personnel and athletes, we're as good as Wisconsin and Iowa. When we beat Colorado, when we started marking off all those wins, we can beat Wisconsin, we can beat Iowa, we are good enough to beat Wisconsin. And once we find our identity in the fourth quarter, once we figure out who we are, once we dig down deep and we realize that this is a team that can win some football games, you got to be able to go to that next gear. And right now that gear is missing. We're just missing the mark. If we can figure out how to play a game in the last 2 minutes, I don't think there's any reason we can't flip these records of these teams that have just basically rolled over and walked on Nebraska. We're tired of being the doormat, man. And at some point, you got to be able to make that switch this season. If you're making that progression as a program that you talk about, we got to be able to flip it.
1-12.
Yeah, it's not very good.
1-12 in the month of November. By the way, Wisconsin fired their offensive coordinator on Sunday, Phil Longo, after the Badgers lost to number 1 ranked Oregon 16-13. He's been with Wisconsin a couple of years. The Badgers rank 97th nationally in scoring and 102nd in passing. while operating this air raid style of offense that this guy brought with him from North Carolina and some other stops. Wisconsin ranked 101st nationally in scoring in Longo's 23 games as coordinator and failed to eclipse 13 points on his current 3-game losing streak. Their quarterback, Braden Locke, had only 96 passing yards in the ball game against the Ducks on Saturday. So Wisconsin has fired their offensive coordinator just ahead of the Nebraska game on Saturday. In fact, they didn't even name an offensive coordinator to take his place for the final 2 games of the season. So who knows?
Call it.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen at Wisconsin this week? And that adds a little twist for our preparations, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, who's going to call the plays? Again, it was like we were in a week ago. We're not going to recreate a brand new offense for the final 2 games of the season. Not going to happen. So you would anticipate Wisconsin doing maybe the same sort of stuff that they have been doing all season long. That's only natural to think that, but hell, who knows? Who knows? Who's going to be calling the plays and what they could come up with this week?
We do have a tendency to make very average offenses look very surgical and precise. So we got to be able to flip it. I mean, here's your window of opportunity. It's a Wisconsin team that can't move the football and can't figure out ways to score. Come on, if we can put points up on the board in bunches, like I know we have the capability of doing, we can win that football game. We can go to 6. But history has proven that our track record in the fourth quarter is going to leave us frustrated and upset again. So I don't know.
We'll be back in the same boat again next Monday talking about the same crap.
We've been talking about the same crap for the last 20 years. I feel like it's just a broken record.
Yeah, they just put this show on replay.
We got stuck in Groundhog Day at some point in time, and we haven't quite figured it out. It's just a bad dream over and over and over every Saturday. Here we go. Let's beat Wisconsin this week.
Temple has fired their head coach, Stan Drayton. He was there 2+ seasons, overall record 9-25.
Ouch.
Owls beat Florida Atlantic in overtime on Saturday. It wasn't enough, giving Drayton 3 wins in each of his seasons at the helm. Temple went 4-18 in the American Athletic Conference play. He came from Texas, where he had served as the running backs coach and the associate head coach, so things didn't work out for Stan Drayton in Temple. He is fired after 2+ seasons and a 9-25 record. So
won a game in November, at least.
A couple of college coaching vacancies. NBA stuff, we kind of touched on this last week, but the Cleveland Cavaliers, they are still undefeated on the season. They won their 15th game in a row to start the season yesterday. They beat Charlotte 128-114. The Cavs are the 4th team to start 15-0 and are tied for the second best start to a season in NBA history, trailing only the 2015-2016 Golden State Warriors. They went 24-0.
Wow.
On their way to a pretty good season at 73-9. So I know a lot of you are not watching NBA basketball right now. We're in the midst of everything else. But the Cleveland Cavaliers off to a great start. They are 15-0 on the season.
There you go.
Some good stuff there. We talked about Nebraska's men's basketball team. They lost yesterday to St. Mary's in a ball game that was played up at Sioux Falls. They lost 77-74. Bryce Williams had a career-high 28 points for the Huskers, but Nebraska could not overcome St. Mary's, and Huskers losing 77-74. Husker head coach Fred Hoiberg.
You know, the disappointing thing to me is, you know, we talked about the start. We dug ourselves a 14-point hole early. And I'll say this. I give our guys a lot of credit. Not sure if you guys understand what we went through last night, but we had 5 fire alarms go off starting at about 1 in the morning. And I know I didn't get back to sleep till about 4:30. And yet to have to respond and play a noon game, you know, that's tough. So I give our guys a lot of credit for finding the energy to fight back in that one. But that's a hell of a lot of adversity that our guys, we talked about it. It's something that adversity hits you in a lot of different ways. And, you know, the edge early in that game, I thought St. Mary's brought it better than we did. The other thing was the offensive rebounds. Obviously, you give up 17 and then you turn the ball over 15 times. We're going to go back and watch those. And, listen, the message to the team is we're going to learn from wins. We're going to learn from losses. We're going to come in on Tuesday morning. We're going to prepare like champions. We're going to have a nice long film session, figure out what we need to do better to win these games, and find a way to get this thing going. But, I give our guys a lot of credit for finding a way to, get, what do we get up 5, I think, in the second half, and then we had 4 or 5 straight turnovers. You can't do that. We have to come down and get a good, high-quality possession when you build a lead like that, when you have a team on their heels a little bit, once you get the momentum. And give them credit. They responded in a big way. It's a great program. It's an NCAA tournament team, 5 seed last year, and I think they're better this year. So, we're going to take a lot from this one and grow and be better next week.
All right, that's Husker head coach Fred Hoiberg. Again, Nebraska losing to St. Mary's yesterday, 77-74. Who was pulling the fire alarms in the motel?
5 fire alarms in the motel? I would check out. I would just go sleep in my car.
Yeah, who was pulling the fire alarms? Anyway, they had to overcome some adversity there, and that would have been a good win for them. On the road, playing St. Mary's, an NCAA tournament team. That's really good in the NCAA tournament. That would have been a good win, but it slides through their fingertips. They're losing by 3, and now the Huskers will play at Creighton on Friday. That'll be a good game, too, Creighton and Nebraska. That'll be in Omaha, 7 o'clock tip-off time, FS1. You'll be able to see it, Huskers and the Jays coming up on Friday.
There you go. So now, no Friday night football with the championships all settled. Free Friday night, and already got my TV guide set with Nebraska and Creighton coming up on FS1. So hoops, I'll get into hoops for the first time.
Monday. It's a Monday as we get you going here this morning, 7:53, as we get another news update.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
News this hour brought to you in part by Hastings Federal Credit Union, where since 1946, Hastings Federal Credit Union has been a part of the Hastings community. As a nonprofit financial cooperative, the credit union is owned by the members who join, and joining the credit union is as simple as opening a primary savings account. Committed to providing the highest level of quality services, the Hastings Federal Credit Union provides banking services to all those living or working in Adams, Clay, Webster, Nuckolls, Thayer, and Fillmore counties. With affordable loan rates, mobile banking, and a friendly staff who treats you like family, why would you go anywhere else? Hastings Federal Credit Union, 707 North Marion Road, or online, hastingsfcu.org. Hastings Federal Credit Union is an equal housing lender. The city of Grand Island is about to endure a major renovation, but you won't be seeing it on the roads or in the form of any new development. The city website will have a brand new look today with new user capabilities. Grand Island Mayor Roger Steele said the new look website has been a long time coming and will provide unprecedented access to city information. The city will also be rolling out a brand new mobile app today. Meanwhile, at last week's Hastings City Council meeting, the 1 and 6 year plan was approved for infrastructure improvements, all approved in the city budget. Continuing work at the Quiet Crossings is another project included on the street improvement plan. Let's bring you up to speed on that. Construction is complete at the Pine and Hastings Avenue crossings. Meanwhile, Lincoln, Denver, California Avenue crossings under current contract, and construction started on Lincoln Avenue. For Colorado and Elm Avenues, the crossings will be designed and bid in 2025, with construction anticipated to be complete in 2026. The Federal Railroad Administration must complete reviews of the project to initiate the Quiet Zone. Quiet Zone project is paid for by city half-cent sales tax. The Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office has approved the Buffalo County Sheriff's Office for a selective enforcement grant. The grant allowing the Sheriff's Office to utilize extra deputies for participation in the national Make It Click mobilization effort. The extra traffic enforcement will be conducted from November 23rd through the December 1st over the Thanksgiving holiday. 7:55, we'll swing it back over to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's going on in sports?
Well, Oregon is still ranked number 1 in the latest AP college football poll. The Ducks are 11-0 on the season after Saturday's 16-13 win over Wisconsin. Ohio State is second, followed by Texas, Penn State, and Indiana. Rounding out the top 10 are Notre Dame, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. Nebraska now 5-5 in the season, 2-5 in the conference after Saturday's 28-20 loss to USC. Huskers will play host to Wisconsin on Saturday. Final home game of the season for the Huskers. Kickoff will be at 2:30. You'll be able to see it on the Big Ten Network. The Nebraska volleyball team, hey, they just keep winning. They swept Indiana on Saturday, 25-12, 25-17, 25-19. Huskers now 26-1. They're 16-0 in the conference. They'll play at Iowa on Wednesday. First serve will be at 6. The Nebraska men's basketball team lost to St. Mary's 77-74 yesterday in Sioux Falls. Nebraska now 2-1 on the season. They'll play at Creighton on Friday, tip-off at 7 on FS1. The Nebraska women's basketball team beat South Dakota 113-70 on Saturday. Britt Prince had 23 points for the Huskers. Nebraska now 4-0 on the season. They'll play North Alabama on Tuesday. Tip-off will be at 7. Hastings College men's basketball team, they lost to Waldorf 80-72 on Saturday. Quinn Johnson had 19 points for the Broncos. Hastings now 1-2. They'll play at Briar Cliff on Saturday. Hastings College women's basketball team beat Waldorf 90-68. Macy Bryant had 19 points for the Broncos. Hastings now 3-0. They'll play at Briar Cliff on Saturday. And the Hastings College soccer teams have qualified for the NAIA National Tournament opening round. The women will play Olivet Nazarene on Thursday in Williamsburg, Kentucky. The men will play Louisiana Christian on Thursday in Marshall, Missouri. That's a check in your sports headlines this morning at 7:58.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
Get ready for a wet, soggy, and windy day today on this Monday. Hey everybody, Tim Jones. Here's a look at your forecast. Rain spreads in the area by Monday morning and continues through Monday night. Overall, about an inch of rain. Some places will receive up to 2 inches. Also, strong winds gusting to 35 miles per hour is also possible. 47 degrees for the high today. Tuesday, plenty of sunshine, but we're still in the 40s. That continues the rest of the week, and we'll keep windy conditions as well.
Northeast winds this morning, 5 to 9 miles per hour. Cloudy, 43 in Hastings at Extreme Sports.
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Located at 208 South Burlington Avenue, Suite 101 in Hastings. At Bamboo Spa, we offer a range of therapies to help you unwind and recharge. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating head spa scalp treatments, and our Advanced Glow 2 facials. Discover the healing power of ozone therapy and frequency healing. Become a member for exclusive 24-hour access to our therapeutic amenities, including the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge. Members enjoy 20% off all services and 10% off products in our non-toxic retail shop. Visit our Facebook page to learn more and book your appointment today. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, truly holistic care, designed for you.
Hi, Mike Will, Tyson O'Bronick. You're listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports for this Monday. We're going to be hearing more from Husker head coach Matt Rule today. We expect to hear from the coordinators on Tuesday as the Huskers get ready to face Wisconsin coming up this week. So a lot of things are going on. We'll get you set later on in the week for the state high school football championship games on Monday and Tuesday next week at Memorial Stadium. And we'll get you our Blazing 5 picks again on Friday. But there's going to be a lot to talk about, I think, this week. A lot going on here as we kind of wind down the fall sports season and get ready for the winter sports season. Maybe I get Bob Jensen from Husker Land Prep on maybe this week, talk about the state championship game. So we'll have a lot of stuff going on the remainder of the week here as we're just getting started, just scratching the surface, so to speak, on this work week.
Yeah, and coming up a little bit later on today, I think high noon, the NAIA volleyball selection show taking place. So we'll see the GPAC field there. Very interesting to see on the football side of things. Wow. Concordia not making it to the NAIA playoffs. That was a little bit of a shocker. So volleyball teams learned their fates today. Soccer and football was decided over the weekend. So winding down on the fall sports, like you said, and getting everybody off to a great week.
Yeah, you mentioned the NAIA playoffs in football. Morningside and Northwestern, they made the field. Nobody else. The GPAC, which was surprising. Dort didn't make it, and Concordia didn't make it. So I thought we had a good chance of getting 4 teams in. What do I know? What do I know? Only 2 teams, and the obvious ones, Morningside and Northwestern. So, yeah, I told you all the time, we're experts at nothing.
We are experts at nothing. That's the beauty of the show.
Yeah, I thought we would get maybe 4 teams in to the football playoffs. Hell no, only 2.
Experts at nothing.
Yeah, what do I know? What do I know? Anyway, we'll do this again tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Hopefully you'll have most of your voice back by then. Take it easy. Take it easy on the chords today, all right?
I'll do my best. I think students are going to get a movie day just for fun because I don't think I'm going to be able to talk for very long. So movie day for my students. And speaking of tomorrow and movies, you can catch us on YouTube. The streaming platform now. We've added YouTube to the mix, so make sure you jot that down on your big bulletin board that you got right there above the studios.
Yeah, I better add that one because I'm not going to remember all these platforms. We're basically everywhere. Everywhere, right? We're everywhere. All right, have yourself a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.
You've been listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports, Central Nebraska's new home for sports. Join us every weekday morning from 7 until 8 on Extreme Sports.
I'm completely right. Completely right. I've been right about them all along. They can't evaluate.